Greetings, Internet. It is your boy Julian, aka the Cozy Representative. I'm back again for another video. I'm very excited today because we're going to be talking about the infamous former scene band interviewer turned scene vlogger turned now disgraced guy who we haven't heard from in like 2 years. Yes, the one and only BryanStars. Now, this video is fun for me to make and pretty easy for me to talk about because I actually found BryanStars when he was just starting out on YouTube, before he kind of hit it big, and which was 10 years ago now, and I've pretty much watched his career. Wow. What a phenomenon. What a singular, dude. There's only ever been one BryanStars, you know what I mean? So in this video, we're going to sort of look into each era of his career and figure out what made this dude, popular in the first place. Where did he go wrong? Why is he disgraced now? Where is he now? So yeah, sit back, relax, drink some coffee, popcorn, I don't know, whatever floats your boat. Candy? Hey, whatever you want to do, it's allowed in the Cozy Representative YouTube channel. Get your freak on, motherfuckers, and let's dive into the career of the one and only, the infamous BryanStars. Let's go.
Come with me behind the scenes, backstage, and onto the tour bus to meet your favorite stars. We are backstage with Slipknot. We are on the tour bus with the Academias. I'll ask questions you've never heard before and show you the answers you won't find anywhere else. What do you like about Katy Perry?
Everything.
How long is this nose you have here?
I have no idea.
If you think you've heard it all, think again.
Alright, the early days. So, BryanStars, whose real name is Bryan Odell, was born in Osaka, Japan on May 22nd, 1990, before moving to Dallas, Texas when he was 8 years old, later residing in Lincoln, Nebraska when he was a teen. Bryan attended the University of Nebraska for 2 years, majoring in broadcast journalism with the intent of becoming a news reporter. Around this time, he had an internship at a local TV station where he would occasionally do news reports which he would upload onto his YouTube channel. Combining his journalism education and his love of music, he began interviewing bands for fun around 2009 and also uploaded these interviews to his YouTube channel. His first uploaded interview was with the band Metro Station, followed by several more interviews with more bands. Leaning in the hard rock, sort of active rock radio world of 10 years ago, his early interviews included bands like Slipknot, Trivium, Hinder, Avenged Sevenfold, Buck Cherry, shit like that. Now, at this point in time, Bryan Odell was not the star he grew to be. In these early days, he had not yet found his formula that eventually became what he was known for. His interviews at this time were more traditional and styled kind of like the segments he was doing for his TV station internship. Along with interviewing several mainstream hard rock bands, he started dipping his toes into interviewing bands of the Warped Tour scene variety, such as Gym Class Heroes, the Academias, A Rocket to the Moon, and The Maine. The stuff that was popular around 2009 or so. Within his first year of uploading his band interviews to YouTube, he gained a good amount of traction on his channel, and on March 2nd, 2010, he uploaded a video on his channel announcing that he had been accepted into the YouTube Partners program, which means he now can monetize his YouTube content and bring in that Skrilla, as they say. And in the video announcing this, he thanked his fans for the support. And sometime after this, he dropped out of the University of Nebraska to pursue interviewing bands on YouTube full-time. Living the dream. You've made it happen for yourself, Bryan Odell. Don't fuck up. Don't fuck up. Oh wait. He fucked up, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Alright, Chapter 2, The Rise of BryanStars.
We hit 70,000 motherfucking subscribers the other day. For some reason, the number 70,000, 70K, 70000, when I first started, that always was like the number that I was going to be a YouTube star, that I would have made it. And here we are. Now that I'm here, I want to say thank you. Thank you for making my life amazing. Thank you for making it possible for me to have an apartment with blue balls, because I don't think my parents would ever go for that.
Now, following young Bryan's feat of making his dream of partnering with YouTube and monetizing off of his content a reality, his first real smash successes followed this. The first big turning point was his interview with Never Shout Never. This is incredibly ironic for a myriad of reasons, but trust me, we will get more into that later. In this interview, Chris is extremely goofy. Christopher Drew, that is, the front man, the face of Never Shout Never, if you will. For those painfully misinformed. Chris is extremely goofy and eccentric and just overall giving off an extremely fun and positive vibe. He is also extremely friendly to Bryan, which is once again ironic for a myriad of reasons, but we'll get there. And his overall vibe and demeanor, as well as his chemistry with stars, made this interview pop out more than Bryan's previous ones and got way more views than Bryan was used to getting. I believe the goofiness that Chris brought to this interview, paired with the amount of views and attention this video got, which was rare for Bryan early on, although he was doing well, but this one got noticed particularly more than the other ones. I believe this caused Bryan to tour with the idea of, asking goofier questions and bringing out a sillier side of the musicians, much like the silly demeanor that Chris showed to Bryan. For example, following this interview, Bryan began starting off every interview with what became his trademark question: "What is your porn star name?" Among other questions of that ilk. Bryan's next big feat was his first interview with Andy Biersack, then known as Andy Six, the vocalist of the glam rock band Blackville Brides. Much like Christopher Drew, Andy and Bryan had a great chemistry together, and this video showed Bryan starting to find his niche, so to speak, with his interviews starting to offer something greater than the other interviewers on YouTube at the time. The formula of Bryan having a goofy, fun, anything goes attitude with silly, off-the-wall questions, causing the bands to open up, loosen up, and have a good time and show their real personalities and show their fans that they were human just like them, worked extremely well and was a really cool concept, honestly. Also, the concept of this nerdy white guy from Nebraska with his signature blue Aeropostale shirt interviewing these, edgy rock dudes and touring bands created a humorous dynamic in itself. And frankly, Bryan began striking gold with this formula, and kids subsequently became hooked. Bryan started racking up hundreds of thousands of views with follow-up interviews with bands like Blackville Brides, as well as Asking Alexandria, Of Mice and Men, Sleeping with Sirens, Dance Gavin Dance, Broken Side, We Are the In Crowd, Mayday Parade, you name it. Pretty much name literally any scene band between 2009 and 2012 or 13, and Bryan has one, if not several, interviews with them. Each interview gaining tens of hundreds of views to an increasingly solid fan base. Bryan was making quite a name for himself and also gaining fans of his own during this time, and his face becoming quite a staple in scene culture during this era. Chapter 3. The Peak and the Never Shout Never incident.
I'm honest. I'm a YouTuber. We're a unique breed. I think anyone who subscribes to a YouTuber or who subscribes to a lot of YouTubers knows that we just talk to the camera. That's what we do. We talk to our audience. I talk to my camera more than I talk to my friends, which is kind of pathetic. I talk to my subscribers more than I talk to my family. It's kind of sad, but it's just like, it's what I do. At the end of the day, I will never regret being honest with my fans. That's what this show is built on.
Once 2012 rolled around, Bryan had officially earned his stripes as a YouTube interviewer, and became a very familiar face within the scene, racking up an impressive amount of subscribers and views, and becoming somewhat of a celebrity in scene culture in a very unique, singular way. Like I said, there's only ever been one BryanStars. And here's where shit begins to get juicy, my friends. In the summer of 2012, the New York Times noticed Bryan's internet success and wanted to do a story on him. They contacted him and wanted to come along with him while he did one of his interviews and cover it for the newspaper, the fucking New York Times. This was obviously a big deal and a huge feat for Bryan at the time. So he began brainstorming. Who would be the perfect artist for me to do this interview with that will be covered by the New York Times? He pondered. An important interview indeed. It's gotta be an artist that will not only make me look good, but one I have great chemistry with, who will deliver nothing short of an electrifying, fantastic interview. Thinking back to early on in his career, he reminisced on one of the first artists who he made a truly amazing interview with. One of his first big smash hits on YouTube. Someone who changed the course of his YouTube channel and left an important positive mark on Bryan. None other than Never Shout Never's Christopher Drew. Perfect, Bryan thought. My first interview with Christopher Drew went so well. He was so nice to me, and we had such a good time on camera. It would be perfect to reconnect with him and have another interview that will be twice as magical and amazing. And this time it'll be covered by the New York Times, and Chris and I's friendship will be immortalized forever within the pages of this legendary newspaper. Nothing can go wrong, right? Wrong! Everything went wrong! Every single thing! Okay, now, this interview that took place is extremely hard to watch and is overall just pretty fucking awkward as hell, but I will give you the rundown, because I'm the cozy representative and that's what I do. He starts off the interview right off the bat by referencing a video that Bryan made, which was part of his BryanStars news segment on his channel. Chris started off the interview referencing a BryanStars news video Bryan made entitled R.I.P. Never Shout Never, which was the title of the video, a clickbait title, because within the video Bryan just talked about how at the time Chris was considering changing the name of Never Shout Never. But Chris seemed to take this as somewhat of an attack, and started off the interview confronting Bryan about starting a rumor that they broke up. He had a hostile demeanor and seemed annoyed, and so did the rest of the members of the band throughout the duration of the interview. Halfway through, when they were answering the question, "What's your favorite thing about your body?" Chris cuts Bryan off and says, "Ask us some relevant questions, dude." At one point, the band became restless and wanted Bryan to ask more serious questions pertaining to the music, and bassist Taylor McPhee grabbed Bryan's questions, skimmed through them, and threw several of the pages of the interview questions on the ground, causing Bryan to lose his flow. It's pretty disrespectful to any interviewer, you know what I mean? I wouldn't do that if I was getting interviewed. Finally, at the end of the interview, this happens.
I gotta ask, because I drove 7 hours for this interview, but are you mad at me because of the Rest in Peace Never Shout Never video, or that one in particular?
Dude, I'm not mad at you, man. I just, I like people being real, and I like people,
I honestly...
It seems like you are trying to make a mockery of all the bands that you're interviewing, and really we're, especially whenever somebody's passionate and being true to their art and true to their heart, I mean, making a mockery of that, dude, it's really blasphemous.
I think that's how? What am I doing?
I mean, just these questions are ridiculous, dude. We don't really want to talk about this type of things. We want to talk about our art and what we're doing. We're in the studio right now, and that's what we've been doing, and that's what we want to talk about, is because this is a music interview, The thing is these guys don't appreciate questions that are bullshit, because these guys are real musicians. I don't know if you know that. And it seems like all the focus is on me, too, whenever this is a three-piece band, and I don't appreciate that because it's awkward for me.
I've asked him 2 questions and he hasn't given me an answer.
Well, because you've been weird about it, man.
If you give me a chance, I will do it. But it's got to go both ways.
Realness isn't always just happy-go-lucky questions or answers. It's real shit. And if you want to be a part of that real shit, you can, or you can, keep being a joke. It's up to you. Yeah, but I mean, let's just wrap it up, man. I'm just being real with you, bro. I love you to death. I appreciate what you do. But, from now on, dude, go in with a different mindset, dude, because this is not the mindset we want to be interviewed in. We want somebody who's going to, dig the truth out of us and not dig a bunch of bullshit out, because we're here to laugh and have fun, but at the same time, we want to be taken seriously for our art, man, because we put our passions into it. And I realize you put your passion into your art too, man, but make it more about the art and less about the scum. And that's it. Love you guys, you fans. This is for you, not for this guy.
So, obviously, this was not one of Bryan's finer moments, or Christopher Drew's, really. It was pretty much just a train wreck. I don't really know even what that was. At the time, everyone was pretty much sticking up for Bryan and commenting on what an asshole Christopher Drew had been. Because, I mean, come on, he was being a dick. Including bands were sticking up for Bryan. Kellen Quinn of Sleeping with Sirens, Chris Franzak of Attila, and, of course, Bryan's homie, Andy Biersack of Black Veil Brides, all showed their support for Bryan and stuck up for him and talked subtle shit on the ukulele-toting, barefoot frontman.
Look, dude, I'm a serious artist, and I only answer serious artist questions. I also don't wear shoes, and I'm a piece of shit. Sorry, just had a moment. Sorry, one thing I have to say, one serious note. There is literally nothing about going to someone who's doing their job and doing what they want to do and making them feel like shit that is cool or artist or anything that makes you feel so self-important. I don't know anything about, I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm just saying that regardless of who you are, someone that does what they want to do, be it Bryan or Cece or myself or anyone else, doing what you want to do is what's most important. And particularly in the case of Bryan, doing funny interviews and having fun and actually amassing a career out of that, that's really cool. And it's really dick to be an artist and to be an ass to somebody because of that. So that's really important to me, and it pisses me off a lot.
But anyway, following this, Christopher Drew ended up apologizing to Bryan via one of my absolute favorite tweets of all time. I was on acid. I'm so sorry for the way I treated you at BryanStars. It all came out wrong. I metaphorically relate. Alright, now as the Never Shout Never drama boiled down a bit, 2013 and 2014 saw continued success for Bryan. He was reaping the rewards of the success he had gained as the goofy scene YouTuber, interviewer, and Aeropostale nerd guy. However, at a certain point, Bryan became a bit burnt out, constantly just doing band interviews, you know what I mean? Which is fair, considering he did hundreds and hundreds of them, interviewing the same bands 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6, or 7 times. He started to seek something a little bit different, and here's where things begin to get murky in the world of BryanStars. In 2014, he began powing around with various scene YouTube personalities such as D-Fizzy or Johnny Gilbert, as he and these other YouTube guys took part in the 2014 Vans Warped Tour together, posting video updates from it, of them sort of just wandering around the Warped Tour, being goofy old guys. After that summer, on September 3rd, 2014 to be exact, a video entitled, quote, Dirty Whisper Challenge featuring Johnny Gilbert and BryanStars was uploaded to Bryan's YouTube channel, which was the first of its kind for Bryan. Not an interview with someone in a popular scene band, but instead a challenge video, which for those unaware is kind of a lowbrow, bottom-of-the-barrel style YouTube video, typically done by sort of generic YouTube videos who don't really have any better ideas for videos, featuring Johnny Gilbert, a promising young kid, very young at this time, I might add. I think he was like 16 or 17, I don't know. I'm not Mr. Johnny Gilbert expert. I don't really actually know a lot about these other people that Bryan was associating with, who we're going to be talking about, but that's neither here nor there. He was young, and he had the scene look going on. You know, the hair, the tight clothes, the black. And I hate to bring up Johnny's looks, because I do believe that looks are not important and do not define you. However, it is important for where the evolution of Bryan's channel is going. It is important to bring that up. You'll see why. Anyways, on November 21st, 2014, Bryan uploaded a video to his channel, once again featuring Johnny Gilbert and another young scene YouTuber guy named Kyle David Hall, where they announced the genesis of their new collab channel, My Digital Escape. Dun dun dun! This leads us to the next era of BryanStars' career, which is definitely the most strange, questionable, and just downright wacky era of this dude's YouTube career, and it inevitably led to his downfall. This is the tea, sisters, or in my case, the iced coffee. Scene Bryan. The My Digital Escape era. Dun dun dun! Thunder, lightning.
The reason I'm actually making this video is to tell you about the main project I'm working on. It's called My Digital Escape. Basically, it's going to be a collaboration channel with 6 other YouTubers. We're all going to be uploading 1 video a week. Now, I'm still going to be doing stuff on BryanStars, including band interviews, band news, and weekly episodes of gay pornography.
My Digital Escape quickly became very popular and became the focal point of Bryan's YouTube output and his overall thing. It's My Digital Escape. The channel had various different kinds of content, but mainly revolved around challenge videos, or goofy finish the sentence wordplay videos, or like guess that scene band, or like reacting to Asking Alexandria song, just like bullshit, just fun, goofy, like charades, like playing with balloons, like I don't know, shit that I don't want to watch. But I get it was successful at the time. Anyway, during this time, it's important to note that the channel grew thanks to the popularity that Bryan already had, as well as the scene kid YouTubers that were in a lot of ways the face of the channel. All of them sporting more or less the scene look. The hair, the makeup, the tight clothes, band shirts. When My Digital Escape started and when Bryan began his journey of turning from band interviewer to somewhat of a vlogging superstar of sorts, he did not have the scene look. Obviously, he never did. And the thing was, that was part of his charm. There was something special about him in the sense that he was coming into this Warped Tour environment, full of tattooed band dudes with tight jeans and long, luscious scene hair and piercings and all that. And Bryan was just the polar opposite, the complete contrast of these dudes. No tattoos, short hair, Aeropostale t-shirt, the complete opposite of the people he was interviewing and associating with. And that was his shtick. And it was cool and it worked. It was funny, it was charming, it was different, and because that wasn't even originally his shtick, he didn't plan that. That was just literally the type of dude that he was. It was natural. That was Bryan. But as he transitioned into more of just a straight-up YouTube personality, making videos with all these scene kids, he began to change his image. He grew his hair super long, started straightening it. He ditched the Aeropostale shirts for, band shirts and skinny jeans and fully embraced the scene look. Bryan wanted to fit in. I do understand the psychology behind it, and Bryan has every right as a free human being to dress and look however the fuck he wants to. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not, I don't want to I don't want to, shit on his appearance or whatever. I've been a scene kid. He can look however he wants to. But a scene phase for a guy who's, 26 years old at this point, who had never had a scene phase before, who makes his living making videos with a bunch of, a lot of times, literal children. Frankly, just kind of fishy. It was weird. He looked weird. I'm not, trying to attack the dude based on his appearance or whatever, but come on, this was weird. Also, not to mention, most of the videos on the My Digital Escape channel were just uncomfortable. It was super overly sexualized humor, which was pretty weird considering the young fan base of these videos. It was mostly girls aged, I don't know, between 12 and 16 who would watch this shit. And he would have his crew of kids playing with dildos, and he would make them take their shirts off or kiss each other for views, and they're just gay jokes and just weird content.
Kyle, look. Pussy? Okay. Sucking? You're totally mouth. Mouth?
Before we get into the downfall of BryanStars, it's imperative that I also talk about the brief music career of BryanStars.
It's everything I know.
This is probably now the most pitiful of all of his endeavors. I hate to just sound like I'm shitting on the guy at this point. In 2016 he debuted as a singer with his Follow Your Dreams EP, featuring the song Shut Up and Kiss Me with its hilariously cheesy and just bad music video.
We're going crazy, never felt so happy. She said, shut up and kiss me.
Which went viral pretty much just for being extremely corny and just bad. There's also a music video for his song called Tonight, which features the rest of the cast of My Digital Escape, with the theme of the song, as well as the theme of the video being just to go fucking crazy tonight with your friends and have a wild time.
One chance to get this right, so let's go fucking crazy tonight.
So these songs that he had were pretty generic and basic and sort of just sounded like a cookie cutter 2008 neon scene pop band like Stereo Skyline or something like that. And listen, I'm a fan of a lot of bands like that. I love a lot of that shit. The Somerset, Old the Main, whatever. But just the fact that it was made by BryanStars, just the fact that it's this dude who appeared to be going through a strange, misguided midlife crisis at 26, well after the heyday of scene culture, and well after the time that people normally go through a scene phase, it was just strange. He had a second EP, also released in 2016, called Picture Perfect, which was more of the same kind of generic 2008 MySpace pop rock, and he hasn't released any music since then. presumably because shortly before this EP was released, Bryan found himself wrapped up in somewhat of a scandal, which leads me to the juiciest segment of this video, the downfall of BryanStars. Alright, okay, first of all, I'm filming the last part of this video on a different day than I filmed the other stuff, which is why I'm wearing a different band shirt, and I might look semi-different. It's the future now. Okay, so I know this video is getting kind of long. Sorry about that. There are a lot of things that happened in the career of BryanStars, but I wanted to really get into it. You know what I mean? Really break it down. Not just one section of his career, but the whole motherfucking thing. And that leads us to here. We're at the end part. So, long story short, on May 14th, 2016, a video was uploaded onto the My Digital Escape channel entitled "Saying Goodbye." The video featured Bryan as well as MDE members Johnny Gilbert as well as Alex Doraman. As the title of the video would suggest, in a nutshell, it was them announcing the end of the My Digital Escape channel, citing exhaustion, depression, and not feeling it anymore being the reasons they planned to call it quits. They also noted that they would still be friends and fans should not be sad about the split and encouraged people to follow them on their personal social medias to see what they'll be up to in the future. Later that year, a new video was uploaded onto the My Digital Escape channel announcing the inception of My Digital Escape 2.0, which was basically the same idea as the original MDE, but with BryanStars being the only original member remaining, with 6 completely new members being part of the channel. Following this, most of the original cast of MDE, along with people who weren't even in My Digital Escape but who have known and been affiliated with Bryan for years, made videos stating that not only were they 100% not cool with Bryan using their channel name and the subscribers they had amassed together over the years for his new collab channel, but they also exposed Bryan for countless sketchy, slimy, and downright heartless things that he had put the MDE members through. Some of these things included signing all of the members to Bryan's management company, but he didn't actually act as a manager at all for them. He basically just did that so he could take a cut of their pay every month. Other things included forcing them to make content they were not okay with, using them for their image, for his own financial gain, and several other things basically revolving around the idea that Bryan didn't really care for these people's best interests at all, but rather used them to make money for himself and to stay relevant with the kids. Let's take a look at some clips of these other people's videos to see what they had to say about Bryan.
I really try to look for the good in him, Mr. Snake. And there's no good. There's just shit piled on shit. This person is awful, in my opinion. Like, really, in my opinion, I really think this is probably the worst YouTuber on YouTube. Like, honestly. I don't want to get too into a lot of the things they've done, but just like a few examples, they would make us make videos that we did not want to make. They would force us to, like, they made it pretty much like a business, like a hella business though. And they would also, they were managing it, which means, hey, I get your money. Like, not all your money, but I get like a percentage of your money, which is kind of weird because since when do members get to be managers? I don't know, since when is that like a thing? I just don't see since when is that okay to do, you know? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
We went on tour. We were not ready to go on tour. We were told going on tour would be good because then we would make money, and I did not want to do the tour. I know almost 6 out of 7 people did not want to do this tour. And the only person who did is the one who is pretty much bringing it back now, and it's not pretty much bringing it back, he is 100% bringing it back, and with all new people though. So I'm not in it, Johnny's not in it, Shannon, Kyle, Jordan, Jaden, no one. And this person is bringing back the channel with all new people, and the only reason we can't do anything about it is because they paid for all of the rights to the channel, so we legally cannot do anything. And I guess the only reason this is really bothering me is because my friends and I put so much into this channel.
If you guys don't know, once MDE started, Bryan was just like, ching, 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 I can make money off all these kids. I'm gonna use these kids to build my own career, and that's all MDE was. And I saw through that, and Bryan told me he wanted to be a vlogger, and he wanted to have fangirls, and blah, blah, blah. And this was like his way of doing it. If he built a collab channel and had all these kids with like the look, and like he was really all about the appearance, and when he would talk about people, he's like, oh, they look like this, they're like the next Christopher Drew, or she has like the scene vibe, she's like the scene queen. Like, he would always talk about people's image, and like the image sells, is like sex sell, like all that shit. So once MDE kept growing, he started to force people into a contract, and these friends were not really friends, they became Bryan's clients. So everyone was like forced into a contract if they wanted to be an MDE. I think there was only like 1 or 2 members that weren't in a contract, and eventually they did get forced to sign. So yeah, he started a management company, but in this management company, all he did was take 20% of everyone's income, but he did nothing for them. I could tell you very well that I had to help them do things that Bryan should have done as a manager. Like, I would have to go with Johnny to the post office and get him to send the merch back to their merch company. And I'm like, Bryan should be doing this. Bryan is your manager. He takes 20% of your money. Why is he sending this 17-year-old kid down to the post office who doesn't know how to do this stuff? Like, Bryan, you should be doing this, man. Like, Bryan didn't really care about management. He didn't really care about helping people. He just wanted to make money, and that's all Bryan cares about. And that's what the thing that bothers me the most is, like, this person doesn't care about anyone but himself. And that was, I knew it. Like, everyone would tell me, and I knew it, but I just wanted to see the best in him.
7 out of 7 week was the first time that I realized there were huge problems. Like, as soon as I met everyone and we were all in one room, in one setting, I realized we were fucked. Like, we were trapped. There was nothing we could do. No one was happy. No one wanted to be there. Everyone was scared. Everyone was just letting this happen because no one knew how to fix it. It was like a fucking factory. It was like working in a factory. I found no enjoyment. It drained everything out of me.
Alright. This was not a great day for BryanStars, as you can tell. He made an apology video. People didn't necessarily accept his apology, and he kind of held on for dear life for about a year or so after these, this whole big blow up on the internet. And then now, he hasn't made a video since the very end of 2017. And it's now, when I'm making this, almost the end of summer 2019, and no one has heard from him in almost 2 years. He's gone. He's off the face of the earth. Now, my own personal thoughts, I'll keep this quick because I know this video is long as fuck, but Bryan made some mistakes. The fame went to his head, obviously, and he treated people wrong. Seeing as how he was a pretty genuine dude in the beginning, and his whole channel and his whole thing, his whole demeanor, his candor, if you will, was that of a genuine origin, I believe, before he got super, super famous and it all went to his head and whatnot. He's a human being. Human beings make mistakes. And while what he did was not cool, you know what I mean? I just hope that he's been taking this time off of YouTube and off the internet to just live his life and be a regular human being and not worry about fame or numbers or money or anything, and make genuine friendships and genuine relationships with people. And, maybe we'll hear from him again one day, maybe we won't, but I just hope that he's learned his lesson and he's doing better now, and I hope that everyone else in the My Digital Escape family are also doing better now, and you know what I mean, I just hope that from a bad situation, everyone's moved on from it in a positive light. So anyway, this has been the Cozy Representative, the rise and fall of BryanStars. Once again, sorry it's so long. I just feel like it's a really interesting topic, his career, and I haven't really ever seen it be talked about from start to finish, so I thought I would be the man to do the job. I've got a lot more videos in the works. I'm trying to upload more often, blah, 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 blah. I feel like every person who makes YouTube videos always says that in their videos, but that's what I'm really hoping for. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still here, still watching, subscribe. I never say that in my videos because I feel like, I feel like you're smart enough to know that if you want to subscribe, you can. But if it'd be, hey, I don't know. If you like this, there will be more shit like it in the future. So, yeah. Anyway, this has been the Cozy Representative. I love ya. Have an awesome day. Goodbye, you beautiful motherfuckers. Peace.